Hi everyone, I am Holly Charles Pearson. I am publicist and account manager at Misty Blue Media, and lots of times we have new clients or potential new clients who come to us and they're in search or in need of, or not sure if they're in need of PR services. And so I think there's a very interesting question, or actually there are probably 10 questions that you should be asking yourself to find out whether or not you are ready for PR. Here we go. Number 1, what's your end game? From the very beginning, you have to be able to visualize the end in order for us to truly help you as PR professionals. And so for some people, the end game may be becoming a thought leader, becoming a household name. Their products could be in all local residents' homes. And for others, they may want to just simply sell more products and services, and their name association is not important. So please think about those things before you seek out PR services. Do you want to make money or do you want to make impact? Figure out what success looks like to you, and we'll be able to make that happen. Number 2, does your brand already exist? Some people become really attached to a particular name or idea. But your best bet before you start to invest in logos, before you start to invest even in PR services, is to make sure that that domain is actually free and clear so that you can use it. Also, make sure that you search in social media. Some people really like a name but realize maybe they're going to have to change a letter or make something plural or singular. Think about these things before you actually get started on your journey. Number 3, do you have a budget? Make sure that from the very beginning, when you are seeking PR services, that you are very clear on what their rates are, and then go and discuss those things with your accountant, discuss those things with your business partner, discuss those things maybe with a spouse. Anyone who is privy to your list of financial commitments will be able to help you to determine whether or not now is the right time for you to seek PR services. You also have to remember this. Most PR professionals are going to ask for a monthly retainer, and that's before services are rendered. Some people may say, I believe that I can afford these services for 1 month. But the problem with that is that media doesn't work that way. And so it may be well into a second month before we can actually get the attention that you deserve, or the attention that you were seeking in order to say that this was a successful relationship. Number 4, do you have a launch date? Or do you have a significant event? Or is there a specific time of year where your product and service is most relevant in the media? Think about these things before you get started. For some people, getting started in the spring may be more beneficial than starting in the winter, depending on what products and services and events are available for their branding. Think about all of this before you consider PR services. Number 5, have you assembled your team? This is super important from the very beginning. You have to be realistic with yourself. Everyone needs a team, and so that may consist of just you and your spouse, or you may have 10 or 15 people that are necessary in order for you to truly become successful. But look at it like this. PR gets you media attention, but the level of quality that we sell has to come from a very experienced and efficient team. Will you need graphic design? Will you need a video production team? Do you need an event coordinator? Do you need an assistant? Now, we certainly are willing to share our networks, and most PR professionals can provide a list of people to outsource some of those services to, but think about those things before you start the process. Number 6, what kind of media are you after? Are you interested in TV? Are you interested in radio, print, podcasts? Are you looking for speaking engagements? All of these things are reasonable and can be done, but you have to think about them beforehand in order for us to have a positive working relationship. It's also super important for you to figure out whether or not you'd like local attention or you'd like national. And so, for instance, a local story may be a small bakery that hosts annual bake-offs for city residents. That would be more local attention that you may be after. However, if you are a small bakery shop owner who is sharing proceeds with homeless shelters in the Houston area, and you want to give the blueprint to other large cities on how to fight food insecurity, then that may be more national. Think about these things before moving forward so that we can save time, save money, and certainly make you successful. Number 7, do you have a spokesperson? Now keep in mind, just because you're the CEO of your company does not necessarily mean that you have to be the spokesperson. It is key that you find someone who is both charismatic and knowledgeable. It is imperative that they are knowledgeable about the services and the products that we are trying to sell. But it certainly does not have to be you. If you're still interested, but you find yourself uncomfortable, remember that media training is always available, where we can coach you through typical questions and answers that might serve you best. Also, please keep in mind who you work for, what clubs and organizations that you are affiliated with, and whether or not any of your messaging might be in conflict. Number 8, what makes you, your product, or your service unique? Now, of course, it's the job of the PR professional to come up with creative pitches, but it really helps going into it if you know from the beginning that what makes you unique is you, or your personal story, or the fact that you are a woman, or the fact that you grew up in a certain neighborhood, whether or not it's your product that's super innovative, it's the first of its kind. These are all things to think about beforehand so that when we do start creating a PR strategy, we can become successful more quickly. Number 9, do you have time? I know this seems like a really silly question, because sometimes we have clients that will come to us with all the passion in the world, but they totally underestimated the amount of time and flexibility that were needed in order to successfully carry out these PR efforts. You have to think of things like this. Media has a very quick turnaround, and so it's kind of this hurry up and wait status that they have you on around the clock. It may take 3 to 4 weeks for them to respond to a pitch and ask you to come on. But when they do, you have to be ready. They may say we need you in an hour. They may say they need you the next day. But do you have the time and flexibility in order to really nurture this process? This is where different spokespeople will come into play. Some people may have 2 or 3 on the back burner just in case, to make sure that they don't miss out on an opportunity that was presented for PR representation. Number 10, are you willing to be patient? Remember that PR is a marathon and not a sprint. And so while you have PR professionals that are working behind the scenes, we in no way can shape what the media deems newsworthy. What we can do is be creative. What we can do is increase your chances by using our connections, our networks, and just our working knowledge of how media works in order to create a successful strategy for you. And so while we always seek to be successful, and we certainly can get you placements, patience is going to be really key. Another thing that you can also do to help us be successful in helping you is that you can stay vigilant. Pay attention to what's going on in your particular industry. And if there's anything that may seem relevant to your product, those are things to constantly stay in dialogue with us about.